Hey guys, what's going on? BN back again today for another awesome video. And today in Infinity Kingdom we're going to be talking about the value of jumping or creating a new account when a new server comes out. Now let me first give you some history on what jumping is. So the idea of jumping, and this comes from at least the game I previously played, even though I played many Kingdom Builders, but previously for me it was Rock or Rise of Kingdoms. In that game, I could create an account, and let's say Server 8 as an example. I could stay here for a couple days. I could farm resources, right? Well, the example would be something like ruins and maybe farming other kind of event resources. And then once I get to a certain point, I then migrate to S9. I do the same thing. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And then, as I'm waiting, I'd probably stay here 5 or 6 days. I'd wait for server 10 to come out. In that time, I'm just trying to level the account as much as I can. So that way, when server 10 comes out, I then jump to it, right? This is in Rock. And it would allow for me to start out at a lot higher level of progression, and I would have a lot more resources loaded up as well, right? So I'm able to essentially be higher powered than new players that are just coming into that server, along with having just again a lot more resources at my disposal to then help my overall progression quickly from the beginning. Now in Infinity Kingdom you cannot do that, right? The most you can do in IK is you can create a new account as, again, in an example, S8. I could then stay here as long as I want, farming resources, as long as I stay at castle level 8 or lower. And then I could migrate to any new server, right, that comes out. So if I wanted to stay in S8 for however long I wanted to, a week, 2, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, then I could migrate to like the newest server, right? Once that new server completes their Chronicle 4, which specifically is the counterattack 1. So that is the caveat: is that if you wanna create a jumper account, you have to wait for Chronicle 4 to be completed. Now this could take anywhere from like 2.5 to 4 days. I'd say 2.5 to 3.5 days, right, give or take, just depending on the server activity and how fast they're finishing the first couple Chronicles. What this means is that within those first couple days, right, you're going to potentially lose out on cities. You're going to lose out on overall tech donations to your alliance to raise your tech level to then increase your member capacity. Right, other alliances can grab cities from you. Other alliances can establish areas on the map that they're kind of already carving out. And right, those are probably the two big things, right? It's early city attacking, right, and acquiring early cities that you will not be a part of within the first couple days. And then you're also not going to be able to develop an alliance for the first couple days as well. Now, there's some ways around that, right? You could create an alliance, for example, right, load it up, and then just like remove everyone from the alliance if you really wanted to, and then you bring in your group, right, or however many players you have. Right, so there, you can do something like that. But if you're just going to do it from scratch, right, these are just like two really big things to keep in mind. But now let's talk about some of the benefits of jumping, right? So one is that there's two things that reset for you that we figured out through testing. One is the 7-day sign-in event, which, let me switch over here to my test account. So for here, this is an account I made on S13 and then migrated to S14 to do some tests. So the 7-day sign-in event will reset for you, and the city expansion resets for you as well. Everything else does not reset. Like the Helen of Troy event doesn't reset, the Chronicles will not reset, so you're not going to be able to double up on any of those rewards. So those are the only two events I know of right now, and if anyone else knows about more, you're more than welcome to post that in the comments down below, but these are the only two events, City Expansion 7-day sign-in, that we know will reset. If you collect all of them in the server you start out in, and then wait for a new server to pop, you'll get those again. So the challenge here is that the value of of how long do you have to stay in a new server before you can then load up enough to go to the next new server or a future new server. And the conclusion I've come to is that, you probably have to be somewhere around like 100k power, right, would be my estimation. And that's because of the two big things that you lose out on from not being in a server when it's created and waiting those 2.5 to 3.5 days for the Chronicle to finish. Because if you're around there, and then in addition, you most likely would need to be with a pretty large group, right? Like I personally cannot see, right, from someone who's organized, big professional jumping groups in Rock from anywhere from, 300 to 450 players, Right. Because it's so different in IK, you have to take more time, right? In Rock, you have like this 10-day, 9-day jumping period, right? That a lot of players are familiar with if they jump before. In IK, because you cannot jump to a kingdom the moment it's created like you can in Rock, you have to be higher powered, and you also have to be, in my opinion, in a larger group to really make it worth it, right? To really justify if you are going to do it. Because you might have to wait 2 or 3 weeks in a new server, right, until everyone is around maybe 100k power, and you at least have 50 people, right, to fill a full alliance. In my opinion, that is the only way I really see it being viable and worth it to do that where you're waiting that long. Now, if you're just a solo player and you have no expectations, you don't want to run an alliance, you just want to do it for yourself so you can be super loaded when you go into a new server, then yeah, it doesn't really matter. But if you have any expectations higher than just going in as a solo player, like you want to run an alliance or something, my recommendation is you need at least 50 people. You probably got to wait till everyone's at least 100k. Everyone's got to stay at castle level 8 and get all their buildings to 8 as well. And then at that point, you're just farming. You're leveling up your immortals, you're doing your philosopher stones, you're trying to get as much out of any and all the events that you can, right, when a new server starts, and you're just biding time. Right, so there's a lot of patience that's going to be involved if you want to try and plan something like this. But if you're just going to ask me flat out, is it worth it to potentially jump in IK or just make new accounts from the moment the server opens? I am still of the mindset, based on how the system currently works, that you should just create new accounts. Jumping really is not worth it unless you are literally going to grind and you have a large group of players that are going to grind as well for arguably about 2 to 3 weeks minimum in a server to get to that 100k minimum power before you then jump to the newest server, right? Whatever that would be after they complete that Chronicle 4. But like I said, I still just see it as an overall long shot. Regardless of that, those are my viewpoints on kind of what I feel about jumping versus creating a new account when a new server comes up. And I'd love to hear what you guys think, right? Do you kind of see where I'm going with it? Do you see something different? Do you even think it's viable? Again, as I said, personally, I just don't really with where and how it is currently set up right now. But I'd still love to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you guys want to check out our SA Discord, any resources, you want to get updates on new videos that are posted, you want to come chat with us, as sometimes we're always in there, in and out, and our voice channel, always helping out new players and talking amongst our S8 fam. You're more than welcome. There's also official IK information and resources in the description. And then with that, I think that's pretty much it, man. Until next time, remember, server versus server we already got the teaser for it. I'm really hyped right now. And as always, man, I really can't stress it enough, man, with how well we are doing, I think, with the preparation in S8, man. For anyone who's interested in making an account there, whether it's just a second account or you want to make a new main to re-roll, you are more than welcome to. We'll definitely have a place for everyone as we're looking to really show out for that first SVS whenever it does come out. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.